Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. We're so glad you could attend. Come inside, come inside. There behind the glass stands a real blade of grass. Be careful as you pass. Move along, move along. Come inside, the show's about to start. Guaranteed to blow your head apart.
Hello, welcome again to Real Do It Yourself Build. Today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at plastering. I'm going to be plastering the ceilings, the walls, and we're going to get ourselves ready to put our light fittings in and our sockets on. Before I do that though, I got some really good feedback on the last video, and it was all about the safety zones for cables on sockets and outlets. And what I have to do is I have to make sure that all our cables either run vertically or horizontally from the outlet. Now the cables in this extension all run vertically from the outlet. One thing I did notice though, when I looked at the zones always are depicted in any visual aid as being the same width as the outlet. So they'd be, the zone would go up there and the zone would come across there. Now what I've done with this socket here, and it was spotted by some helpful viewer, is I've actually got the cables coming down and then they go in the side of the box, which if I look at the visual aids for how you interpret the zones, that would place this cable about 15 millimeters outside the zone. So what I'm going to do today before I start plastering is I'm going to make a cut here, and I'm going to take this pattress box off, and I'm going to fit this one, and I'm going to put the grommet in the top, and I'm going to move the box over so the cable comes straight in the top, and then I can be absolutely certain that we're in the zone. So keep the feedback coming, it's very, very helpful, and any tips like that can help me, I'll put them in the next video, and that'll help everyone else as well. Okay, let's get on with it. So on with the plastering, and the first thing to do is make a mix of plaster. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to get our tools, and the first thing we need is a bucket that's large enough to do the mix, or to mix enough plaster, and make sure that the inside of that is clean. We don't want any bits in the plaster, because if you've got any bits, then what happens is when you're trying to spread the plaster out, it's going to catch and you'll end up with lines in your plaster. So first of all we start with water in the bucket, and then we add the plaster, and then we start to mix it, and we just keep adding the plaster in that way. Then add some more and start again. It's very important to make sure that each amount of plaster that you add is thoroughly mixed in before you add the next amount. Also make sure you keep your tools clean. If you do add any debris or any dirt, it will only cause problems later when you try to use the plaster. Make sure you keep the sides of the bucket clean so that you don't end up with lumps dropping into the plaster later on. Then keep mixing until it becomes real smooth and creamy. Now me, I'm a beginner, so I want a very, very soft mix because it makes it easier to spread on, to be fair, and it's also easier then, or it gives me a little bit more time to get the lines out after I've put the plaster on. I've mixed the plaster up and I've made it quite a soft mixture. Can you see that? I've made quite a soft mixture because I think that might help me to get it nice and level. I've wet my hawk. I'm just going to put a little bit on there and let's just have a go. See how I get on with my first bit. And this is the ceiling that I'm going to do. So I've set up my platform and I've already tried it and I can reach the corners nicely, so I'm going to just see how I get on with this. And in the first instance all I'm going to try and do is get it on reasonably smooth, and then I'm going to go back over it and try and smooth it out. So let's see how we get on with that. So starting right in the corner, I'm going to be coming this way. Incidentally, when I put the plaster on, the trowel that I'm using will be pulling it towards me, so I'll just have a slight leading edge so that the back edge is what is putting the plaster on. If I lay it flat, it's likely to dig the plaster off, so let's see how we get on. Seems to be going all right. I'm sure there'll be plenty of experts ready to tell me that it's not, but at the moment I'm just going to keep going and hopefully we'll get good results. Try not to spill too much. What I'm finding is that as I come along, it's going on nicely and I'm having to drop the angle slightly towards the end to keep it scraping on, to keep it going onto the ceiling. I'm also finding that my glasses are misting up a bit. Well, I had to take the glasses off. Couldn't see a thing. They stinged up. They stinged up like mad. So I had to take those off. But I'm slowly getting there. There's a few lines in it which I'll have to come back and remove. But I think it's going on reasonably well. I'm just making sure I don't go over my head so I don't end up with plaster in my eyes. Let's take that line out. Okay. So we've nearly finished this small ceiling in the, or the first coat on this small ceiling in the utility, and then we'll see if we can get all that sorted out and smooth where the little lines are. See if we can take those out in a minute. Okay, so far so good. Whoa, a little bit flicked off there, a bit trying to get me. There we go. Now I'll just try levelling that off a little bit in places, or taking out some of the lines and try and get it as nice as I can. Okay, I don't know if you can see the lines. There's a couple of little marks here, and I'm doing smoothing out now. And what I'm finding is if I use a little bit of water, a little bit of water spray, and then wet the trowel a little, I can, if I press firmly, I can remove those marks. Can you see them smoothing out like that? Just by pressing firmly and a little bit of water. And what it seems to do is it picks up some of the plaster from the high spots, and it smooths it into those little areas. I'm finding it easier by using water, and it seems to be coming out okay. So that's something I found today. So the last thing we do is just brush in the corners. We get a little bit of water on a brush, and when you go into the corner like that, it gives you a nice finish. If we just move around there, you'll see. Okay, just come round. And as you see in this corner, it's quite bumpy, and then we just brush it in like that, and it makes a nice perfect corner finish. There. Just take that out of there. There we go, because that's not been done yet. So that's plastering of the main wall done, or the biggest wall with the doors and the archway through into the original kitchen. That's all done now. We've brushed in the corners as I showed you earlier, and the ceiling in the utility here is done, and the main ceiling now in the main extension is done as well. So in the next video, what I want to do is just rewind a little bit and show you how we did the plasterboarding, because that was quite intricate around some of the shapes. Show you how that was done, show you the edges that were put on so that it helps us with the plastering to get a nice sharp corner. And that'll be in our next video, but that'll be a short video. We'll also do a short video on how we put the pipes in, on how they were all set up ready for the new radiator. The new radiator is going to go on this wall here, which we've already plastered. And to be fair, that's why we've started with this wall, so that we can get that painted up very, very quickly, get the radiator on, and then we can carry on the plastering. The other thing is, the reason we've done the ceiling is so that we can get the light fittings in, so we can get it painted up just around the light fittings and get those in quickly. So I'll see you all in the next video, and don't forget to like and subscribe, because that will help us out and keep us going, so that we're able to keep on bringing you stuff. And I'll see you all next time.